What's up guys, it's your boy Avionics back with another Ducati motorcycle video. We're back here at Ducati Las Vegas and our main man Cody Williams is going to be showing us all about the new Streetfighter motorcycles.
Hi guys, welcome back to Ducati Las Vegas. My name is Cody, joined here today with Avionics. We're going to be going over the new 2021 Streetfighter V4. So new for 2020 was the Streetfighter. It was kind of their creme de la creme, their new bike that they came out with. Well, here in 2021, we got a couple small changes, nothing too major. We're just going to kind of cover the bike and go over what this is and what it's all about. So the Streetfighter is essentially, in essence, just a Panigale with no fairings, a wider, higher handlebar. So it's going to be a little bit more comfortable to sit on, while at the same time, a little bit more enjoyable for some people when comfort is concerned. It's going to have a seat height of 33.3 inches, while at the same time you've got that nice, comfortable, high bar to be able to grab onto. Just going to really put you in that nice, comfortable position. Moving through it, the big thing to note with the Streetfighter is they first came out in 2009. They were rocking the 1099 1100 engine back in the day when they were still using the L-twin. So new as of 2020, they came out with the V4 Streetfighter, mimicking the same 1103cc displacement Desmo Sedici Stradale engine that they use in the Panigale V4. What it's going to be coming out to, this is going to be a slightly detuned version of the Panigale. We're going to kind of talk about that here in a little bit. But it comes out to having about 208 horsepower, 90.4 foot-pounds of torque. Of that power, you're getting full peak power at 12,750 RPMs. And on the torque, you're getting full torque at 11,500. So with the Panigale V4, you're looking at 214 horsepower, 91.5. So it's going to be making just a little bit less power, but the reason why they did that is they actually kind of changed out a little bit of the gearing ratios, as well as also dropped a front tooth in the sprocket to give you a little bit more pull, a little bit more torque, which on a Streetfighter, not necessarily a race bike, is something that most people are going to be looking for when they're doing their day-to-day commute or they're just going out for a nice canyon rip. They want to have that more available, ready-to-rip torque. Starting from the bottom, we're going to work our way up through the bike. We'll be able to go over everything. You've got your standard 120 by 70 by 17 inch tire. You're rocking the 17-inch wheels, both front and back. On the rear, you've got a 200 by 60 by 17. This is going to mimic the same exact tire that's found on the Panigale, which is going to be able to give you that nice, stable feel, while still being able to give you plenty of ability to lean the bike over if you want to take it out to the track or you're just enjoying some good canyons. I don't know how you guys like to ride, but of course there's a different riding style for everyone. On the standard, we've got the cast alloy wheels wrapped up with the same brakes that they actually use on the Panigale. You're going to see a lot of similarities between this and the Panigale. Although they are two totally different bikes, they are going to look, feel, and breathe just about the same. Brakes are going to be the same from the Panigale, rocking the Brembo Stylema calipers with the 330 millimeter discs up front. You've got a 265 millimeter in the rear with the Brembo M4.30 in the back. Something that's also new for the Streetfighter, instead of giving us the Pirelli Diablo Supercorsa tires, they actually gave us, it's essentially going to be their newest street tire or street version of the Supercorsa. You're going to have a little bit more tread pattern on the tire itself, while at the same time you're also going to get a little bit more life. You're not going to have to sacrifice too much more grip out of that either. Moving our way up, it's going to have your standard classic Ducati single-sided swing arm. Definitely a fan favorite when it comes to Ducatis. Moving up from the back there, you've got the Sachs rear shock found on the standard. For 2021, these bikes are now Euro 5 compliant, which means it's going to comply to all Euro 5 restrictions and regulations for emissions, which is definitely going to be usable here in the States. Moving across to the front, we've actually got the Showa suspension up front. This is going to be a fully adjustable suspension, definitely able to go in, change the feel of the bike, while at the same time give yourself the responsiveness that you need to correlate with your riding style and abilities that you're looking to do. Just behind those beautiful forks, we're going to have the biplane wings, which is actually part of the Streetfighter's fight formula, something that they use to come up with the Streetfighter. You've got both biplane wings on the bike in order to help keep some downforce under hard acceleration, which once you've ridden the Streetfighter, you'll definitely understand. All it wants to do is pick up off the ground. It's got plenty of torque, it's got plenty of power. Not only does it have a complete look with the bike, but it also has a complete function as well. Moving up into that beautiful headlight, we've actually never seen a headlight like this quite from Ducati. It's going to be all new for the Streetfighter, definitely taking the lines of the Panigale V4 with their headlight that they've introduced when they came out with the bike in 2018. They used inspiration for this headlight from the Joker, actually. You can find more about that on their website, Ducati.com. A lot of controversy surrounds the headlight. Some people absolutely love it. Some people, maybe not so much. I'll let you guys decide. I, for one, think it's pretty sweet. Other than that, we're going to be starting to move back. We've got the steering dampener up here, which is also, like the rear shock, going to be from Sachs. It is non-adjustable. Of course, that can always be swapped out for one that is. Just behind that, we've got our battery cover, which houses the battery. You can have a standard lead-acid battery in there on the standard. Our fuel tank, again, is going to mimic that of the Panigale V4 with a capacity of 4.23 gallons. And we've got this nice, big, comfy seat just on that fuel tank. Because it's actually, you've got the fuel tank, again, just from behind the battery cover to actually underneath the seat for maximum weight savings as well as weight centralization, because they want to try and keep everything nice and tight on these bikes. The seat height on this thing is going to be coming in at a nice 33.3 inches. Definitely going to be a little bit taller for some folks, but at the same time, it's doable, as well as you can also get a lowered seat for the bike in the event that you find that it's just a little bit too high for you. I've ridden it with the standard seat, with the lowered seat. Honestly, I like them both. If anything, the standard seat, if you can do it, it's got a little bit more cushion to it. But of course, that's a personal preference. So other than that, we're gonna go ahead and dive into the Streetfighter electronics. I'm just gonna flip this guy on here. It's nice that they threw the logo right on the handlebars, so you're always gonna be reminded of every single time that you get on the bike. It is a Streetfighter V4. So, just like with the electronics panel that's going to be on the Panigale V4, we've got the same exact switches, so we're actually going to be able to go through the bike just about the same. Using these two switches over here on the left handlebar, we're going to be able to mitigate through. The left switch controls the left side of the screen, kind of toggle through all of your different settings, even gives us a beautiful air temperature. Active consumption, this is only going to display when the bike is actively running. It'll let you know exactly how much fuel you're using once you're moving. Other than that though, we're going to go ahead and dive into the settings menu, which again is going to mimic that of the Panigale V4. If you guys haven't had a chance to check out that video, please jump on Avionics channel, check that out. It's very, very good. We'll go through into the riding modes. You're going to have the 3 modes on here. You're going to have the race, sport, and street. Just for ease of use, we're going to dive into the sport mode. You've got the Ducati Advanced Vehicular Control, or the DAVC, which is going to control your traction control, your wheelie control, and your Ducati slide control. The slide control and traction control work in conjunction with one another. They're going to help you as far as keeping the rear from sliding out, or if you turn them off or low enough, you will be able to slide in a controlled manner. The wheelie control, as if the biplane wings weren't enough to help keep this down, they still included their 8-way adjustable wheelie control in order to help keep that front end down as much as possible. Some people like wheelies, some people don't. On the engine, this is going to control your power. You've got 3 different settings, a high, medium, and low. The high is going to be the full power dynamically brought on, which the easiest way to explain is it's going to be an almost instant reaction from your hand to your rear wheel. Whereas your medium power, you still got access to the full capabilities of the engine, but it's going to be brought on a little bit smoother. It's not going to be as abrupt as that high full power is going to be. And then on the low, most commonly found in the street mode, is going to be a reduced power brought on very, very smoothly for those lower speed commutes or those cities that, there's just too many lights. You kind of want to take it easy. ABS, you are going to have a 3-way ABS setting. And you're going to have cornering ABS all the way through at the same time. So with 3, it's definitely going to be the safest. 2, it's going to bring down the ABS mitigation just a tad, nothing too crazy. and then 1 actually takes away the cornering ABS. You're going to have it only on the front. It takes the ABS, turns it off for the rear wheel. So you'll have cornering ABS for the first 2. You'll have cornering ABS for level 3 and level 2. You actually lose that for level 1. The engine braking control, or electronic braking control. It's actually going to control how much you engine brake every single time that you let off the throttle. The lower number here is going to represent the maximum brake, which means it's going to brake as much as possible as soon as you stop twisting the throttle. 2 is going to be kind of right in the middle, and 3 is going to have a minimum brake, mostly for coasting. DQS, or the Ducati Quick Shifter. There's 2 modes for this bike. There's going to be a standard feature found both on the standard and on the S. It's going to either be on in the up shift as well as the down auto blip, or it's going to be off. Your info mode, you can actually go between road and track. In the track mode, you'll be able to find that you have a lap timer that you'll be able to use on the fly at the track days. Bike does come with a pin code. Be able to set up your lap timer, your backlight from both the day setting and the night setting. Let's just go ahead and flip it on here so you can see what that looks like. Very tough to see during the day. Most people find that leaving it in the auto mode is going to be the easiest way, just due to the fact that it's going to automatically switch. Date and clock settings, of course. Units between miles per hour to kilometers per hour. Gives you your service intervals, how many miles you need, as well as, or how many miles you have left, as well as the amount of time that you have before your next service. Your tire calibration in the event that you decide to change from the 200 by 60 by 17 rear tire. If you decide to take like a 200 by 55, this tire calibration is actually used to relearn the electronics so that you won't have any issues or difficulties changing those tires. DRL, or the daylight running light, pretty much you can have it in the auto or the manual mode. That's also going to change when it comes to riding during the day, riding at night. Of course, you're going to want it on at day, and then the regular headlights will come on as soon as the auto sensor senses that there's not enough light out. You should be riding with your lights on. Your turn indicators are going to be self-canceling. Now, it comes in the automatic self-canceling mode. You can turn them back to manual mode. Very nice and easy. As soon as you go ahead and make your turn, within about 5 to 10 seconds, they should just shut off automatically. If you're sitting at a light, they usually just stay on, which is nice. They actually are activated with a gyroscopic effect on the motorcycle. Other than that, the info down here is actually going to be for your battery. It's just going to show us our battery display right now. Of course, we've had the bike on for a second. This will change as soon as we go ahead and fire this bad boy up. So other than that, we've got the right control switch here, which actually controls the small settings down on the right-hand corner. Everything that we just talked about. So you can change these on the fly. For example, we'll go to the traction control, press that middle button. You can actually go lower or you can go higher. Hit that middle button again, and it's going to lock in place. You'll be able to actually go through and set your different settings. Now, there are a few settings that you cannot adjust from this small menu here in the middle of the screen. ABS is going to be one of them. The quick shifter is going to be one of them. And you will not be able to turn settings off from this screen. Of course, that's nice and easy. Just get back into the settings menu, be able to turn everything back on or off. Other than that, we've got the beautiful Streetfighter V4 here. I hope I've been able to cover just about everything on it. A lot of heritage is coming from the Panigale V4. If you're familiar with that bike, there's a lot of things that are shared on here. One of the other things too is going to be the frame. It's going to have that same cast aluminum frame that is found on the Panigale for 2020. So they actually use the frame from the Panigale V4R, which is going to have a little bit more flex in it. It's going to have the cutouts in there, which definitely makes for a nicer ride. Other than that, you've got the magnesium side covers, the stator cover on the left side of the bike, the entire magnesium clutch side cover on the right side of the bike. You've got your massive oil cooler and radiator throughout the bike, which is going to help keep this thing cooler. A lot of people are actually saying it runs definitely a lot cooler than the Panigale. And I want to say that's largely in part due to the fact that You don't have those large fairings on the side, which are going to be found to trap heat. You're going to be able to move a lot more air over the bike itself through the engine, which is going to help create that cooling effect. But other than that, guys, I hope that this has been helpful as well as informative. If you guys happen to have any questions, please, by all means, leave a comment below, reach out to Avionics. I'm sure that he'd be more than happy to assist with any questions, as well as if he does need any additional help, I'd be more than happy to, of course, help him with that. One of the last things I forgot to cover on these bikes are going to be prices, model variations. So they are going to run a little bit cheaper than the Panigales, and the main reason for that is the fact that you don't have all those plastics on the bike, which definitely do add up to cost a pretty penny. So the standard Streetfighter, the one that we've actually been doing the video on here, comes in at $19,995. That is US currency. And of course, that's before taxes and any dealer costs. With the Streetfighter V4S, you're going to be looking at, in red, $24,395. And then the Streetfighter V4S Dark Stealth is going to be coming in at $24,695. Main differences between the standard as well as the S is on the S, just like with the Panigale, you're going to have the Marchesini forged aluminum wheels. You're going to have the Öhlins front suspension, Öhlins rear shock, Öhlins steering dampener, all controlled electronically throughout the dash. Other than that, not too many differences between the standard to the S. They just want to be able to offer a more complete handling package, something that's going to be a little bit easier to ride, while at the same time a little bit easier to throw around. And when I say easier to ride, it's just going to have a little bit of a lighter steering due to the suspension as well as the lighter wheels. The standard, you're coming in at 443 pounds wet, and on the S's you're going to be looking at 439 pounds wet. Not a huge difference, but when it comes to wheels, that's unsprung weight, which makes more of a difference than a lot of people give it credit for. All right, guys, so from here, Avionics and I, we're gonna go ahead and gear up. We're gonna get out on the road. That way he can see what this is about, give you guys a chance to see what the bike looks like when it's riding, as well as how it sounds while it's riding.
All right, guys, we're back from our test ride, and once again, I was test riding the V4S. Now, once again, the difference between the V4S and the standard, it's price-wise, it's $5,000, but for that difference, you're getting an upgraded Öhlins front dampening upgrade on the suspension. You got your gold front forks, you've got your rear Öhlins suspension, and then you have your different rim set. So that's the difference between the V4S and the standard. Now, ride-wise, you're definitely feeling it. In the test ride, in this first test ride that you saw, I test rode the V4S, and then we got back to the dealership, and then we swapped, and there is a big difference. But obviously, $5,000, it does make a difference on your wallet. So if you're not looking to get so performance-wise, then the standard is definitely your thing. As Cody previously mentioned, this model, the Streetfighters, are basically the naked Panigale V4, so they're a little bit cheaper, and it does ride a little bit differently. It obviously has a more upright stance compared to when I previously test rode the V4S. It's got more of that crotch rocket stance, so it's definitely much more comfortable, and I'm finally getting used to the quick shifting, which is pretty fun and pretty cool to use, where it takes less thinking. At first, I was like, oh, I still find myself shifting the normal way, but I'm finally getting used to the quick shifting on these Ducati bikes. But these are some great bikes, man. It still has that power and torque that you would find on the V4S. It's just tuned down a little bit more. All right, guys. Well, there you have it, the 2021 Streetfighter V4 and the V4S here in Ducati Las Vegas. I'm Avionics. Thank you once again to Cody Williams and all of Ducati. If you enjoyed watching this video, I'd appreciate it if you hit that like button, leave any comments or questions down below, and please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring that bell for notifications for more awesome Ducati videos like this. Peace.